to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, boys and girls. Thank you for joining me. It's July the 3rd, 2026. But of course, the Wagwan to my familias. It's basically 4th of July. Happy birthday, 250 beautiful years. It's, oh man, where do we even be? Before we even get into it, let's just begin like we always do. Shout out to everybody, whoever's tuning in from Canada. Wagwan to my family, mi familias. Further down south, the beautiful United States of America, all 50 states. Further down south, the Mexicans in Mexico. Further down south, and south of Mexico, South America. Over there in the Africas, in Europe, in the Asiatic the part of the globe. New Guinea, we'll get there. New Zealand. El Salvador, over there in Guyana, over there in the Congo, over there in Cote d'Ivoire, back in Africa, in Egypt, in the Koreas, in the stands, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, over there in Uruguay, Uruguay. Hello, in the water, on top of it, on land, in a cave. Doesn't matter where you are, wherever you're tuning in from the International Space Station. Hello to the astronauts. We're putting the ass back in astronauts today. Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful, wonderful day. Can you feel it? Call me in the air tonight. Oh, lear. By the way, I just, you got to pay attention to the words, please. Some may mistake this for a beautiful song by Phil Collins. It is not that song. It is not that song. Okay, none of this. You can't put songs on the YouTubes and whatnot because this again the lyrics specifically were, and it's important. It's important. It's the title of the show today. Is can you feel it, commie? Can you feel it, commie? In the air tonight, oh lear. That's the name of this episode today because I thought of it very recently, and that's what we're going with. It doesn't matter. The point is that's what I want the episodes, and I just don't, again, I don't want any confusion to be like, oh, is he singing it? You're not allowed to sing a song or play a song. I'm not singing that song. It's not that song. It's not two different songs. Two different Pepsi and Coke. Two different drinks. Two different beverages. Nonetheless, let us begin, and hopefully it'll make sense as to why we decided to go with Call Me in the Air tonight, oh lear. Hello. It is indeed the 4th of July. I've landed, of course, as an American. It makes me proud to have landed in the compound before starting the show, having ridden my bald eagles, 2 of them. That's what I ride around. If I'm flying, it's eagles. If on land, on horse. 2 horses, a horse that's riding a horse, and I'm on top of that horse, and I'm wearing chaps and a cowboy hat, because I'm you bet your bottom dollar I'm fucking carrying pistols, motherfucker. You think this is 250 years ago, 1776, if I'm not mistaken, our forefathers got together and said no to a bunch of stuff, and then said yes to a whole bunch of other stuff. Some of the stuff that they said no to. Kings and queens and like royal families, I think they said no to that. They said no to the British Empire back then. We're gooch now, of course, but back then we weren't for like a minute or two. It was a bloody battle, but nonetheless, 1776, 250 years ago, brave men on the front lines, and some in the back, mostly in the front lines, and the women holding down the fort back in the home front, making sure the men's are, you've seen Patriot, you know what I'm talking about, fathers and sons back to back, shoulder to shoulder, knee to knee, hip to hip, fathers carrying sons on their backs, sons growing stronger day by day, and once getting the opportunity to carry their fathers on their backs, they definitely repaid that due, and eventually they realized they can now carry each other on their backs, and that was nice. Muskets, pistols, horses, you can smell the tall grass from a mile away if you're near tall grass, of course, but the land never lies, and the land doesn't speak. I mean, does it or doesn't it? Maybe the land does speak. Maybe you just got to listen a little bit more. The point is that a lot of great people have given their lives so that we could be here today, and perhaps this is our way of giving back. So congratulations. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's 250 years. To all other nations, you can suck it. That's what it is. Our birthday. To all other and by other nations, I mean other regions of the world that are attempting to be nation states, whatever that. Let's be honest. The only real country in the world is America, of course. The only one that matters. Everybody else is, bunch of wannabes, bunch of fucking posers, pretending to be countries. But nonetheless, personal opinion, to each their own. Just happy to be here with you guys and gals. Shout out to the gang holding it down. Let us begin today's festivities and celebrations. May your day be litty, of course. May you start day drinking and puff passing it around from early in the AM all the way up to midnight and after as well, and have amazing sexual intercourse with one another. Let us get into it. $2.5 million, if I'm not mistaken, right now in New York. I heard about this. We're getting it's because it's that time. It's a time of people are concerned about the monies, the fiscals, cost of life, all that beautiful jazz. And there's government spending, of course, is a little bit. And you're like, okay, well, we gotta tighten up our belts. We gotta you gotta pull up your bootstraps. You gotta You gotta fucking tighten up there. If you're running around on these streets, you gotta fucking tighten up, boy. You best be tight. And you're like, okay, I hope if I'm tightening up, at least the government is tightening up too, and they're spending wisely. Like I'm making fiscal decisions that are, every day, trying to make a positive, wise fiscal decision. I hope the government is doing the same thing. And then you got again, and you feel it, commie in the air tonight, oh lear. I believe, again, 2.5 million I heard is going, there's a whole budget. We'll get to it. It's a commie-filled episode today because it's making a cut. Why is it making a comeback? Who knows? But people like it. Some people really like it. Apparently, and because it's worked really well in many places all around the world. Did it kill millions of people? Sure. Do people, die of poverty and hunger? Sure. But again, it's just not been done properly, as they say. The point is 2.5 million of the fiscal budget, if I'm not mistaken, is going to a New York city, beautiful city of New York, the city that never sleeps, the city that power naps, the city that cat naps but will not fall asleep. The insomniac city, the city where the people don't need sleep, so they get to live longer lives. They live the same lives, but they don't sleep. They're not wasting their time on sleep. They don't waste a third of their life sleeping, is what I'm trying to tell you. So 100 years for New Yorker is actually like actual 100 years, whereas everybody else would be technically living, like 66 years or 75 years out of the 100, because you're snoozing out there. New York's got it down because they don't sleep. The point is, 2.5 million is going to healthcare for sex workers. This is important. You're like, what about the other people? First, we must begin with our marginalized. If our sex workers are not buff, if they don't have enough cheddar, if they don't have enough cheese to go buff that puss and get it, because you show up any time of day or night, and you get yourself a pristine puss for, let's say, $100 an hour. And you're like, man, that's amazing. This puss it's got that new car smell, this puss. That's because it needs proper healthcare. Without it, you'd walk in there and it's heinous. It smells like dead cat. It smells like dead cats and dead fish. It smells like a dumpster. It's got a little dumpster inside of it, and there's a little fire set inside that dumpster. If you don't have healthcare for that beautiful sex worker, next thing you know, you're like, oh, they shouldn't get any health care. Well, you say that now. Until now, you paid $100, but you're getting head, but she's got no teeth, and that sucks. Unless we come together and decide toothless head is the best head, in which case, then maybe they could forget the dental care, forget about it, but maybe focus a little bit more on. That's just more of allocating where the money goes in terms of healthcare. Maybe we don't need the teeth if they're giving head. Maybe gums is the best way. Really, honestly, if they stick to a strict diet of just protein shakes and juices and forego the whole eating of the meat and everything, it's sex work. Who cares? I don't care if they're eating meat. I like to eat meat, but if we find out together that no teeth, it's leading to better head, and it makes everybody happier, I'm all for it. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, if they're not taken care of, you know how easy it is to get a prolapsed anus? Do you know how hard it is to, maintain a pristine starfish? It's because you've seen it. You go to places and you pay good money, good hard-earned money, and then they take off their clothes, and it looks like a blown out car tire on the side of the highway. And you're like, what is this? And she's like, clocks the ticket. And you're like, fucking I better get to work. And you're in there, you're tongue-tied to the blown out tire that is her asshole. But it's so it's essential. You do need that healthcare. Everybody else should probably get healthcare too, but we do need to start with one of the most important pillars of our society, and that is our healthcare workers. And above that is, of course, sex workers, then healthcare workers, because it's a very tight-knit community, and they go hand in hand. Without one or the other, you wouldn't have the other one. So it's important. But even if you forget about the healthcare workers, I don't even know why I said that, to be honest with you. Forget it. If we can actually take money from the healthcare workers and allocate more of it to sex workers, and because do you want proper titties when they go get their boob jobs, or do you want like, I don't care for the areola doesn't have to be perfect. You say that now. You say little minor imperfections might be okay to deal with right now in the present, but we're thinking down the line, a career of 10 to 15 years, if that titty is lopsided and or has got mismatched areola sizes, it's like an aging tattoo. Sometimes it needs to be touched up. Sometimes, so that titty with the weird areolas, right now it might not seem like a big diff, but again, little just going in separate directions in 10-15 years, the left hit's going to be just fucking, it's going to be on her back, and you're not going to want to pay full price for that, and that's not cool. So please, the 2.5 million, I say it's not enough. Allocate more, and again, it's so that everybody stays happy and we get good tits and proper puss that's not deflated. Ever get a puss that's deflated? Has not had enough air pumped into it. You know what I'm talking about out there. Keep it wet. So the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that I did hear about this particular story. It got me excited initially. Before I looked into it, I heard that a 31-year-old woman in Orlando got mauled by an alligator. I'm like, fucking sweet, dude. How do they do it? How do the alligators figure out how to take chicks to the mall? Mauled by an alligator. I'm like, what did this freaking alligator do, dude? Is it going I asked myself, I'm like, are alligators, is this the romantic era of alligators? Taking a chick to, this 31-year-old woman gets mauled by alligator. I'm like, fuck, what did he buy her? What did he buy her at the mall? How did he even figure out to take the chicks to the mall? I got so excited. Then it turns out apparently, poor choice of words. Of course, it's not what I thought initially. Apparently, it's sad. This one is heartbreaking, but we should probably nip it in the bud somehow, because it's 2026. This alligator, I'm not sure if the woman was from Orlando or visiting Orlando. Nonetheless, a hottie with her boyfriend or man, I don't know their actual relationship, doesn't matter. The man and a woman. The woman was 31 years old. I think it was her boyfriend. They went in a river or a little tiny lake somewhere in Orlando, in like 3 feet of water. Next thing you know, alligator comes out, fucking bites off her arms. There's a recording of the EMS phone call, and the EMS workers working hard to calm down the friend that's nearby her, try to calm her down and get the emergency service workers out there to help him out. It's a whole bloody mess, and it's not what I thought. So I'm not sure if there's a program where alligators do take the chicks to the malls, but this was not the case. She died, which is sad, but also at the same rate, we should probably do something about it. And so I think we did. I think we killed like 2 alligators. But can we not figure out which bodies of water have alligators? Like, can we not have some like alligator inspectors, somebody like watching our, because apparently there's an uptick. There's a bunch of uptick on a bunch of stuff. Today it's another underlying theme of today's episode, an uptick of animal attacks and commie notions and ideologies, I guess. And on our birthday too. So we gotta fight for a lot to keep it going, baby boys and baby girls out there. So I say we put nanobots in the in the rivers and the lakes, specifically in areas where we know, like the Everglades in Florida, I've heard it's got a ton of snakes and gators and crocodiles and all that. Put nanobots in there and like have them send out the stats, and then maybe like have like a billboard, a digital billboard outside of the, you know, like, you know, on the beachfront where it says like, you know, there's today in the water, we'll have like, you know, 27 alligators. Watch out in this body of water. So at least you know. Can we send like a, you know, an underwater drone in there to inspect the water 24? Because we do have the tech. With all this tech, we're like, what are we going to use it for? Let's use it to find out how many alligators and crocodiles we got, so that this doesn't happen again. It sucks that fuck alligators, dude. Let's figure out how many of them we got. Let's hunt them. Can we eradicate some animals? I know we're bringing some back. It's 2026. Some of them have got to go. We do have to get rid of a few. I mean, I'm not saying let's start with other animals, but gators I'm willing to put on the table. If you are down, I'm down. We all get guns. One day we just go out there, make it National Hunt an Alligator and a Crocodile Day. Put an end to them. They're useless. They do nothing for the ecosystem. Most of them are on welfare. Most of them don't even speak the language. And it's like, you've been here for millions of years. So please, that's my particular opinion. I don't know, of course, you may be a alligator lover. You may want to tussle and wrestle with an alligator. You might be a gator pervert out there. You're like, no, we gotta protect them. Fuck them. That's what I say. Fuck a bunch of animals. I'm a big team, you know, human first, but I also love my animals. But some of them, if they're aggro, let's get rid of them. If they're not, you know, contributing, let's get rid of them. At the same time, while we're dealing with alligators, I've heard there's a new discovery they made of, in the midst of all this, as if we're not dealing with enough, they apparently discovered a new species of sharks called walking sharks. Shout out to Papua New Guinea for not wearing pants and also getting walking sharks. Apparently near Papua New Guinea and Indonesia, they discovered this a couple of years ago. It's popping off right now. Walking sharks. And this is not like, I don't want people to again mistake this for, these are Joaquin sharks. These are not Joaquin Phoenix's sharks. These are not Joaquin's sharks. These are like, I'm not sure if Joaquin Phoenix has sharks, but I just want to clarify, this is not, if you're like, oh great, these are Joaquin's sharks, they must be cool. They're not his sharks, and I don't even know if he's got sharks, but these are walking sharks. They're smaller in size, but they're still sharks, and sharks were, you know, a couple of animals might need to go. Do we need more sharks? Do we need a new species of sharks? Because sharks without feet have given us, you know, you hear about it, you're like, oh, beautiful Australians going out there catching a splish splash sploosh, coming out with missing limbs. You know, you hear about, oh no, Florida, shark attack, or wherever else. I don't even know if shark attacks happen in Florida. Doesn't matter. The point is, we do have them. These ones have feet now. How do they grow it? Are they just, I've not seen the images of but that's what they're called. They're called walking sharks. I don't know if they've got like, do they wear pants? Because that's ungodly. If there's a shark with just nude legs, does it have a cack too? Does it have a cack and how are they walking around? Do they have toes? Are their toes webbed? These are the questions that I'm asking. Who put the feet on the shark? This is some genetically modified shit. I don't believe we've had walking sharks. Sharks are known to be swimmers for the longest of times, and they've been here before trees and shit. They've been doing this for a lot. If they wanted feet, they would have gotten it. I don't know how these ones just got discovered. I don't know what we put in the water, Papua New Guinea. But I attribute a lot of this to that, again, not wearing the pants and the exposing of the old crotchal area. There is a correlation, not sure about the causation, but something's got to give. Someone's got to go. Fuck walking sharks. If you are with me, please let your local jurisdiction and politicians know. And once again, this is a grassroots effort. If we get these little tiny W's here and there together, we can fight not just walking sharks, but fucking communist notions and intentions. This is what happens when you let in a little few stuff. This is what happens. Next thing you know, it's, sharks with hands. You let them have. What do they say? You give an inch, they'll grow a leg. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Next thing you know, they're gonna want to cross their legs and shit. Next thing you know, they're gonna want to do. What am I gonna look at? Under a tree, there's a shark doing the lotus position with his new feet wrapped around his neck while chomping on a hottie from Australia. I don't think so. Walking sharks, and apparently they're like, oh, they're borderline like endangered, or they might be going extinct as well. So we got to look out for them. They can only live in shallow water near the coastal area. They like specific areas of the water. They're specific about where they live. These walking sharks, fuck them. I've had enough. I can't deal with walking sharks in 2026. We're dealing with plenty on our own plate right now. Eliminate them now with the alligators. That's why I'm gonna go out on the limb. Hard stance today. Fuck alligators and walking sharks. Sharks can swim, all right? Motherfucker, legs are human attributes. Legs belong to us, motherfuckers. All right, don't get it twisted. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, I do get passionate and excited about things that are important out there, like taking care of our species. So please let this not go down, and let not her death be in vain. I forget her name, rest in peace. Good God. Both the arms got ripped. Not one, both the arms. Son of a bitch, dude. Fuck gators. On a bright note, it is important that we highlight and celebrate women and say that we love them. Of course, that's true. But they're doing something different. Allegedly, apparently, there's an uptick. Again, today's one of the underlying themes of an uptick in elder bitches in their 40s giving birth. There's an uptick because they're not giving birth at earlier ages like they used to. This is a growing trend apparently globally, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. You hear things and then you wonder. You're like, is it true? But if it is, there's pros and cons to it, of course. You know, if elder bitches are giving birth, pros, I'll say this, the babies are probably gonna have more dough. That is, compared to most like younger, that at least you'd hope so. If a bitch took her time to not get pregnant until her like 40s, at least you'd hope that she has money then. Or at least you hope that whoever she partnered up with has money. I'm guessing if older women are having babies, and probably older guys are probably having kids a little bit older too. Who knows? I think so. I think just looking around, I think so. That's what it feels like. But also, I don't know. I'm not in everybody's house. I can't tell. And that's not for lack of trying. You go to random people and like knock on the door and you're like, let me just fucking, chill for a minute and just see what your, what the demographic of this household is. Next thing you know, you're being pushed and elbowed and yelled like, get out of my porch, get out of my driveway, they'll say. And you're like, just trying to collect some stats. But guess people just don't care about stats. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that elder bitches will probably have more money to dispose for themselves and their babies, which is nice. You're not gonna have like a baby with, you'll see like a newly, younger parents will like sometimes have their babies and their babies will shit their, diaper. And sometimes because of like budgets and fiscal pressures, the parent will be like, well, maybe we should feed him once more before we change the diaper, because she or he's probably gonna shit the diaper once. Let's just get a good load. You know what I'm talking about? And that baby becomes shit diaper baby for like 6-7 months because of, fiscal pressures. Whereas a bitch in her 40s with her husband, they can just be like, you know what? We changed the diaper. She hasn't even shat her diaper yet. Let's change it anyway. Clean, fresh diaper baby. And that baby's gonna go and fucking, be a rocket scientist one day, compared to the other ones who's gonna get accustomed to the fecal smell and probably gonna grow up in back alleys, turning tricks later on when she turns 18. So pros and cons, of course, but there's always something to be said about the health of the baby. They say the younger the parents, not too young, of course, but the younger the parents, the better the chances of the baby not being retarded. And they say that, and that's, I think, historically been proven accurate, more or less. It's not to say that young parents don't produce retarded babies. You see plenty of those as well. But they do say there's a higher chance of your baby turning retarded if you are an elder bitch and you're male lover is also elder as well. There's a higher chance, slightly higher. I don't know the full deets of it. I could look into it, but I'm not gonna, because it's Friday. It's 4th of July. I'm not gonna look into it, to be honest with you. You look into it if you'd like to. Having said that, is it so bad to have a retarded baby? I say find the sweet, because everybody's a little bit retarded. Find that sweet spot. Don't have your baby too young where you're too broke to take care of it, but you're like, at least I got a healthy baby. Well, that baby's probably gonna, be missing out on a lot of experiences, grow up to act retarded because of lacking in life. And then you don't want to maybe have a baby when you're in your late 40s or 50s, because you might have all the means, but your baby's retarded. You can't even show them off. Like, you'll show them off and you'll be like, look at this beautiful baby. And everybody's gotta like lie to your face as your baby's drooling and just, glitching and fucking, wearing a bib 24/7. It's like 7 years old, can't say a word. That's a scary baby, and people are gonna have to lie to you. If they're nice, and if you want honesty, well, they're gonna lie to you and probably gonna lose that relationship. There's a fine balance. Find out what is a decent amount of money you can live with and still have a baby who's not completely fine, but you want a little bit of retard in there as well. Like, hopefully they're autistic in a sense where they can go in and maybe make a pathway for themselves in any field and make bank. If they can focus, I've been told, on something, really anything. Push them, motivate them. Do as Joe Jackson did with the Jackson 5 and have multiple babies. Of course, Joe did have multiple babies, and he picked the most talented one to really be hard on. Who knows? Allegedly. The point is, yell at your children if they're retarded. If they're not, yell at them regardless, because that's what actually turns kids into stars. And why else? Why would you have a baby if you don't want them to fucking do well? So, point of it, and also younger mothers, their puss does tend to bounce back quicker than elder mothers. So for the male, keep that in mind as well. If you're like, oh, my wife is pregnant, she's young, that's wonderful. Whereas if she was old, if she's older, she's probably gonna break her hips. We've seen plenty. I've seen 7 this morning before I rode in on my 2 eagles and landed in the compound. I saw a couple of 43-year-old women give birth, break their hips, and walk with their legs all the way around their heads. It was retarded. It was just like Exorcist vibes. Didn't give me a good vibe, but I'm like, you know what? If the family's happy, then so be it. The father passed out, of course, and the mother will never recover. One of her tits had a stroke and it just landed on her face. She's now tit-faced because of a stroke she had when she was 43 and gave birth to her twin babies, who are now probably attached. Their babies are attached. They're conjoined twins, because that's what happens. Old jizz and old egg. What do you expect? No, in all honesty, it'll be fine. You'll be good. It should be okay. Love them. That's the only thing you can do. Love them if you got them, and if you don't, wait a little bit longer. That always helps. But honestly, if everybody has babies at an elder age, if all the babies are retarded, then nobody, like, if everybody comes out full blown fucking tarded, then no one's tarded, dude. So always 2020's a number. What did they say about 2020? It was in the past. Today's the future, baby. Today's the motherfucking 4th of July. Fucking right there, dude. Put your gats up in the air and blow a couple of fucking ceiling fans up. Let us stay together. Power to the people. Doing it over there. And this is, I'm not sure what to make of this, to be honest with you. I heard and we love the people of the world, despite the fact that, again, they're, there's America and then there's everybody else. Let's just, if we're being honest for a second, but it doesn't matter. We had visitors, apparently. 2 Ruskies, 2 Russians came over and decided to take it upon themselves and sneak in and climb the Empire State Building. 2 Russian nationals. And I forget their names, to be honest with you. Ivan Berziger and who cares? It doesn't matter. I might hashtag it, I might not. It doesn't matter. But they decided to climb the Empire State Building, and they took a flag with them, and they posted it on top of the Empire State Building. The banner was a Jimi Hendrix quote that read, and forgive me for not remembering verbatim, it said something along the lines of, again, this is Jimi Hendrix quote. It's funny how things sometimes work the way they do. The quote says, glad you made it, one of the best fucking podcasts out there. Anybody says otherwise is a motherfucking hater. Apparently that's what Jimi Hendrix said. It was a quote, or something along the lines of, love is the power that gets when love wins, power shifts, and shifting power with love leads to you probably wanting to watch more of Glad You Made It. And there's so many episodes you can choose from. And this is just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. That's what the code said. Many people could not read it, of course, because it's a moving flag. It's hard to. So I'm just telling you what I heard. The flag was raised and put up top, and they did this. Apparently, they've been known to do this. They are what the experts call air or sky perverts. They like to get up top of things, and they've done this before. Apparently, they've been in. We love them, of course. We support everybody here, and they've had some appearances in a Netflix show or two. Maybe I'm not sure if they were the stars or maybe they just appeared in a couple of Netflix shows. It doesn't matter. They are stars in our eyes, but at the same rate, and apparently there was a bunch of motivation for doing this stunt. They've climbed many of things. I've not looked into what they've climbed. I think they've climbed animals. They got a couple of camels and climbed on their back. They climbed horses. They stacked 7 to 12 midgets on top of one another and climbed them. They got on top of a giraffe. They like to climb things. They got a couple of giraffes and climbed the giraffes. The giraffes were not happy, but they were aroused, which is, something at least. Nonetheless, and they single floor, just one-story houses. They've climbed that. They started with those back in Russia, if I'm not mistaken, in the Red Square. They decided to climb the Kremlin at one point. I think they've even climbed on top of Putin one time or another. Allegedly, it was the double, though. It was one of Putin's doubles. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." This couple climbed on top of Putin's shoulders. It was the double, so it didn't technically count. But they like to climb things, and they did it in New York, and they decided to climb the Empire State Building. And they decided to also propose to one another. It was part of the thing. They're like, let's climb the building and let's propose and get married. On one hand, you could say that this is extremely romantic, that maybe more couples should take chances to climb things and to propose. And there's, of course, on the other hand, some people say that this is extremely disrespectful. This is extremely, it just makes other couples feel like less than because they might not have the same climbing capabilities. To whom I say, climb. You don't need climbing experiences to be able to climb. Sure, you might take a little fall and slip here and there, but start small. You don't need a harness, you don't need a hard hat, you don't need a helmet, you don't need anything to hold you down. All you need is a good belief system and know that you can. Should anything happen to you, this podcast was not responsible for you ending up getting hurt, of course. Should you succeed and become a gajillionaire like your boy, then I won at least 10 to 15%. I motivated you and I got you going. You're welcome. Will their marriage last? Who knows? As long as they'll have buildings to climb, perhaps. Should we fail to build larger buildings for them to climb, then we might just see that their entire relationship was built on a facade of climbing and not love itself, which is the most important foundation. Some say you should actually find love before you climb. Others say climbing will lead you to love. But who are we to judge? The point is that this is America. We're a beautiful capitalist nation. We're not going to make an example out of these two, or we might. We'll have to think about it. There was that Brittany Griner episode where the beautiful Russian people wanted to let her go, but the government said she apparently likes the old devil's lettuce, and that's illegal there apparently. And so we'll see. Will we do a little tit for tat? Can we do a tit for tit? I never liked tit for tat. I like tit for tat. I feel like if you do tit for tat, you always lose if you get tat. I'd rather get tit. I'd rather do tit for tit instead of tit for tat. But that's just me, to each their own. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, the French people are, of course, fighting in France over air conditioning. There was a sale in France. They're conditioning, and the air it needs conditioning. That's what I said since day one. The day ones know, by the way. I came in here. I said the air needs conditioning. There's a sale. There's a summertime, like every year. It's hot outside. People are fighting apparently over the air conditioning sale, and I'm here to help you. My beautiful little croissant over there, trying to get yourself a little air conditioning because it's a little bit hot over there in France. How you say? Put a baguette in the air conditioning. Yeah. That's what you're gonna need to do. If there are people coming after, and this is, I know we're using the air conditioning example right now, but this is, it's more of a, take it as an allegory or an analogy for anything that you want. In this case, it happens to be air conditioning. Tomorrow, it could be bacon. The very next day, it could be toiletries. The very day after that, it could still be toiletries. If something happens and all of a sudden there's an uptick in toiletries and they become hot as a commodity, then it could just remain toiletries for like 7 weeks straight until a new hotshot comes in with a new product and everybody's like, oh, you got to get this thing. The point is, whatever you want, you got to get it at by any means necessary. I'm talking if there are elderly and children in your way, do not discriminate in terms of, are we all, if we're fighting for things. This reminds me a little bit over like toilet paper back in the Schmovit days when people were like, give me that toilet paper. And again, we learned looking at me, you need to use elbows. Keep your elbows sharp and keep your elbows up. Kick the elderly and push the young. The women are also frail, push them as well. If you have to step over anyone to get your air conditioning, do so, because again, there's probably a limited number, despite the fact that we've had summer for billions of years. But apparently we just figured out we need air conditioning during summertime. Who knew? But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that you need to get yours. If anybody's got it in their hand and it's the last one, you need to grab that box and fight for it. Whoever rips the box out of the other person's hand gets to be the winner and pay for the air conditioning and walk out like a champion and go back to their families holding their head held high with a sense of pride and joy, saying, I've provided for my family where they can enjoy air conditioning, where the air in this household is conditioned and the family is growing, thriving, not just living and surviving, but thriving compared to the other weaker families who weren't able to get air conditioning. And that is a lesson of Darwinism. Fucking push something along the lines of fucking, you gotta get it. There's only a limited number. You gotta get yours, man. Survival of the fittest type shit. It's summertime. You gotta get that AC, all right? I don't care what, if you get one and it's not working properly, try to replace a similar one that one of your neighbors has. That's always worked for some, allegedly. So there you have it. And again, this does not have to be air conditioning tomorrow. It could be water the very next day. It could be anything. It could be barbecues. It could be cars. It could be, could be hyper-realistic sex robots. If you got to get yours, get yours. I don't care if it's somebody's special birthday or anniversary. They must have it. You must have it. You must have it. Congratulations. Commie, can you feel it? Commie in the air tonight. Oh, lear. Oh, lear. 126 billion budget. Again, going back to, again, I said a lot of underlying themes today. Intertwined, interconnected, touch egg. 126 billion spending budget for New York, if I'm not mistaken, run by Zoran Mamdani right now. 7 million he's allocated, if I'm not mistaken. 7 million is going to tranny story hour and drag story hour. This is of course very important. He's also mentioned to lower your thermostat to 70 because you gotta do your part to take care of the grid. There's $126 billion worth of money, but you gotta do your part. And again, can you feel it? Commie in the air tonight. Oh, lear. I think it's starting to make sense a little bit as we go along. But yes, $126 billion, 7 million is going to tranny story hour. Earlier we did say 2.5 is going for sex workers' healthcare needs, but this is also important. Tranny story hour needs to be done properly, and it needs to be done well. We're the best of the best. We give hope to others. We illuminate where there's darkness. We shine where things get shiny. And in this case, we can't have fucking, just trannies who are barely tranny. We need proper tranny story hour for the children, all right? I'm talking full blown, none of these pre-op trannies, all right? We want full post-op trannies doing tranny story hour, because we don't want there to be any confusion for the kids that get taken to these tranny story hours, asking questions like, have little Jimmy over there, tugging on his mother's skirt. Mama, did this man get is he pre-op or post-op? I can't tell. And she'll be able to point and indicate to young Jimmy, and she'll say, no, sweetheart, he's post-op. As you can see, he's got no bulge, but he could also be tucking. We need to, but this is exactly why we need the $7 million to be allocated to tranny story hour, so that there's no confusion. Okay, is it a dragon? Is it a draggy or a tranny, mammy? How would we educate the kids if there's not enough budgets going into these story hours for the kids? So please, sure, we could easily spend it on, beefing up the grid so that it can maintain a couple of, air conditionings during summer. Sure, we could go ahead and spend it on the police so that there's, less crime, so there's not, injustice taking place each and every day in front of our eyes and gets, brushed up under the rug. Sure. But what's important, the most important things in life must be taken care of immediately. You gotta have a list of priorities. You gotta have your priorities straight. You can't just be like, oh, safety and community, protection. No. Backbone of every society, the ones that succeeded at least, is tranny story hour and healthcare for the old sex workers and the young ones too, especially the older ones, as they age quickly too. Like a 35 sex worker, technically 75. So gotta again take care of them. You don't want that tit on that face. I'm telling you right now, it could easily move. They're getting a lot of You think it's just a regular tit? That thing's being fucking massaged all day, every day. Of course it's gonna end up on her forehead. It's gonna freak everybody out. That's why we need the money. So please lower your thermostats. I don't care if your grandma's gonna die, all right? She's gotta do her part. Memdani's gonna do his part too, all right? He will reduce the he'll reduce his as soon as you reduce yours, but you need to start first. He'll do his after. Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh, lear. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a sip of this for a second. If I'm not mistaken, there's a toddler out there. There's a toddler out there in Arizona that's made quite a comeback. I'm not quite sure how to make sense of this one. There's a toddler that was declared dead by a doctor in Arizona, and he was put in the hospital's morgue, despite the fact that there were apparently a couple of officers on site and a couple of nurses that were maybe telling the good doctor, that the kid might be actually showing signs of life, that he might not be dead. Regardless, the doctor said, I'm a doctor, I do science, doctor. Look at my fucking wall with the certificates and the degrees and the diplomas. Whose name is on the diploma? His name, he said. I don't actually know what he said, but I'm assuming he said that. Most doctors should say that. Look at that diploma. Whose name is it? All right. And then rips open his, overalls, and he's got the diploma tatted on his chest too. That's what a good doctor does. The point is that he declared a kid dead, and the kid decided to go to the morgue, and apparently it turned out he was alive. The kid came back. And this is extremely selfish of this toddler, of course. Toddlers are known to be, throwing tantrums. Me. It's always about them. They don't have the concept of, oh, adults having to go to school, adults having to make hard decisions, having to take on loans, years of pre-med school, post-med school, med school, so many years of schooling, so many years of practice, and all of a sudden this kid comes and he's been declared dead, decides to come back and make this doctor look like a cuck and embarrass the good doctor. Some people say it starts within the family. I say, showing respect to one's elders. I don't know if this is an instance of that, but at least realizing that if someone's worked hard and put in the hours and they say something, whose word are you going to take? Doctor versus toddler that's coughing and refusing to die? Put a little bit of respect on that doctor's name, right? This kid might not be, it might have been alive, but the signs were there. He could have almost been dead. He's probably a weak baby, I'll say. It's probably a weak toddler. It showed signs of dying. And who's to say he's not going to die in a few days? And guess what? We're going to have to come back and be like, oh, we need to check him again and now put him in the morgue. All that to say, kids simply lack the, again, it's their frontal lobe has not had enough time to develop. They don't realize what it means to humiliate a doctor in front of his coworkers, make him look like an idiot, and maybe have somebody look into whether or not he should be practicing. These are the types of things that we're trying to stand up against and say no to that. Yes to good doctors making solid decisions and everybody standing by it because they're doctors. Please let us take this time and say we shouldn't always listen to children, especially if they're ruining the reputation of a good man. That's solid. We should probably stick by that. If I'm not mistaken, I did hear that the war might be back on. There's a lot. It's debate. The point is the Middle East conflict. I'm talking about the Iran situation. I believe we decided to pull out, but then it felt good to pull out. But then we decided, what feels even better than pulling out? Putting it back in. So we're going to be back in. I think. I'm not sure of the details. I don't think really anybody is. But again, it goes back to, because that's what it is. It's forget the war. Let's just concentrate on pulling out and putting it back in. Everybody knows that, yeah, sure, pulling out it's part of making putting it back in like that. You need to, if you're not willing to put it back in and you pull out, you're missing half if you're not willing to put it back in, you're missing half the right is putting it back in. That's the whole, forget what it's about. The point is that it feels good to put it back in. You can't just pull out and be like, this is it. You're gonna leave everybody with blue labias and blue balls. That's why you need to put it back in. So we're gonna put it back in. It's gonna feel. Trust me, it's gonna feel great. Everybody's gonna love it. The tensions are they've been like this for some times, but that's this sexual tension of, again, forget what it's about. It's about putting it in, pulling it out, and realize sometimes you pull out too early. Sometimes this isn't even about war. It's mostly about putting it in, and then pulling it out. Oftentimes, how many times, I'll ask this to the audience out there, how many times did you put it in and thought you were done, and then you pulled it out and you didn't even come yet. You thought it was just a little pre-cum, and you're like, I came, and you're looking at your woman and you're happy and you're like, well, we did it. I came, she hasn't come, but that they don't, and you're like, well, you're good, right? And you pull out, and apparently she didn't climax, she didn't come, so you got to put it back in now. So now you got to give it time. It's timing. You got to pull it out. Take a breather. Every once in a while, it's good to take a breather, catch your breath, because not many instances where you can pull it out and immediately be ready to go back in again. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need a little smoke break. Sometimes you'll get up and like walk around for a second, you know what I mean? Give everybody a little bit of time to just have that blood flow everywhere, and then get back in there, and you'll be hard and rocking and ready to go back and put it in once again. And you'll notice that this is not like a one-time thing where you can just put it in and then pull it out. It's a commitment. It's a commitment because it's about having fun. It's about realizing that it's not the end goal. It's the journey, and it's really, if again, you can't just be focused on, oh, I'm going to be pulling out. You're not even going to enjoy putting it back in. Put it back in, and then pull it out, and then put it back in again, and you'll notice that this whole thing is about putting it back in and pulling it out and back in and out. And it's gonna be. It should last some time. It should last you some time. It doesn't get old. It doesn't. We've been putting it in and pulling it out. We've done it for as long as humanity. We put it in, we put it out. So please, if anybody's like, should we try something? It's one of the most fun things. You might think there's more fun things to do than just put it in, pull it out. If you think there's anything more fun than putting it in and pulling it out, please, by all means, all right, go ahead there. Come up with your genius idea of what's better to put it in and pull it out. I dare you, come up with a better idea than putting it in and pulling it out. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh, lear. Peace out. Get out of here.